What if I told you that while South Africa's hospitals are crumbling, with patients sleeping on floors and clinics running out of basic medicine, billions were quietly siphoned off to fund a single man's luxury empire of Lamborghinis, seaside mansions, and designer art? This isn't fiction. This is the real story of Hangwani Maumela, the alleged tender kingpin at the heart of the R2 billion Tembisa hospital corruption scandal. And this week, the Special Investigating Unit, the SIU, finally stormed its gates. Thursday morning, Sandhurst, one of Johannesburg's wealthiest suburbs. A convoy of black SUVs rolls into a street lined with palm trees and marble driveways. Inside, SIU officials and police officers move in on a mansion that looks more like a European embassy than a home. Their target, businessman Hangwani Maumela. For months, he's been under investigation for allegedly masterminding a vast corruption network linked to Tembisa Hospital, where funds meant for healthcare were rerouted into shell companies and fake tenders. When the raid began, locksmiths broke open designer safes. Trucks were loaded with Lamborghinis, Bentleys, high-end furniture, and artwork worth millions. An SIU spokesperson, Ngwako Matsiang, confirmed, "The SIU can confirm an operation took place at a Sandhurst home linked to our Tembisa hospital investigation." He added that more details will emerge once legal processes are finalized. To understand how this happened, you need to look at Tembisa Hospital. For years, it has been one of Gauteng's busiest and most underfunded hospitals. Yet behind its failing wards, 3 criminal syndicates were systematically looting its budget. According to the SIU's interim report, our $2 billion has already been traced through fraudulent procurement deals. The SIU reviewed 1,728 procurement bundles worth over our $816 million, and every single one was riddled with irregularities. Money flowed from hospital accounts into shell suppliers, companies that existed only on paper, and then on to secondary conduit accounts. From there, it was laundered into Maumela's businesses, trusts, and property deals. As one investigator put it, it would appear that Tembisa Hospital contributed to lavish lifestyles and the acquisition of phenomenal assets. Lavish, indeed. The SIU says Maumela's network of properties alone is worth $293 million. That includes a Bantry Bay mansion on Cape Town's Atlantic seaboard worth $75 million, a Port Zimbali estate home worth millions, and multiple properties in Sandhurst and Hullingham, valued together at over $150 million. His fleet of cars? Estimated at $223 million. Among them, multiple Lamborghinis, several Bentleys, a luxury boat, and other high-end vehicles that would make even the Dubai elite blush. And while these luxury assets were being acquired, Tembisa Hospital, a public institution, couldn't afford basic medical supplies. Doctors were forced to reuse gloves. Families brought their own linen. In some wards, oxygen ran out. It's not just corruption. It's exploitation of the most vulnerable, disguised as procurement. But here's the question that no one wants to answer. How did this go on for so long? How could billions vanish from a single hospital without triggering alarms inside the Department of Health or the Treasury? The SIU's findings suggest a network far bigger than one man. Maumela may be the face, but he wasn't acting alone. There were insiders, procurement officers, accountants, even hospital administrators who approved and processed these tenders. Every 3-quote system submission had fingerprints of complicity. It's a web that reaches higher than anyone wants to admit. This is why investigators say Maumela was a key beneficiary, not the sole architect. Because behind him might stand politicians, business partners, and bureaucrats, all taking their cut. The raid has sent shockwaves through government and political circles. The African Transformation Movement welcomed the SIU's operation, calling it a long-overdue strike against looting. But where are the others? Why the silence from those who oversaw the Tembisa Hospital's finances for years? Why haven't we seen arrests beyond asset seizures? The SIU's findings show this wasn't spontaneous theft. It was an institutional failure. Someone at the top signed off those budgets. Someone saw the invoices. Someone ignored the red flags. So while the public sees the seized Lamborghinis, the real question remains: who else profited? There's a cruel irony here. South Africa's public hospitals are collapsing. Doctors are striking for basic equipment. Patients die waiting for ambulances that never come. And yet, in the heart of Sandhurst, one man lived like royalty, funded by those same hospitals' budgets. It's the story of a country where corruption doesn't just steal money, it steals lives. Every cent looted from Tembisa could have bought medication, fixed broken machines, hired nurses. Instead, it bought luxury estates and sports cars. That's not just a financial crime. It's a moral one. The SIU says it has identified over $520 million in assets linked to Maumela's syndicate, and more are being traced. This is just the beginning. But South Africans have heard this story before, high-profile raids that end with silence. So the question now is, will this case finally end with prosecutions and jail time? Or will Hangwani Maumela become just another name in a long line of untouchables who walked away unpunished? The SIU says they'll speak once legal processes conclude. But the public deserves more than silence. We deserve justice, not just photo ops of seized supercars. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about luxury cars or Sandton mansions. It's about the collapse of trust, the betrayal of ordinary South Africans who depend on a healthcare system being looted from the inside. And until every name in that network is exposed, one question will keep haunting this nation: who really runs Tembisa Hospital, and how many others are just like it?